Ahora estás viendo algo así como. All right, 7:30 in the morning. This isn't supposed to start until 8, but I'm here at 7:30 because that's when the good deals happen, folks. People are still putting their stuff out, and so I'm not going to harass anyone, but early bird gets the deals, you know. How you do, cousins? It's Rusty. We got a really awesome show for you today. As you saw, I was out at an outdoor market out in the grocery store parking lot. Got up early. It was super chilly, but sometimes that's not a bad thing. Sometimes it means it cuts some of the competition out because they wake up and they're like, "Phew, it's just so much nicer to stay in bed." And it's true, but you're missing the deals if you don't get there early. I'm going to show you all the stuff I got. We got some paper ephemera. We got a little bit of jewelry. We got some vintage cookware like Pyrex and Corningware. We've got stamps and just oodles of other cool things we're going to go through. So if you know something about these, please drop a comment. If not, why don't you see the types of stuff and maybe you can learn something. Let's dig in together. A 1 and a 2 and Rusty the reseller, he'll sell you the shirt off his back. Well, I have done it. We're back at the warehouse now, and this is the stuff. I've laid it all out here, kind of sorted through some of it. I got a pile of some paper ephemera here. I got this little metal, it's kind of this ornately carved kind of metal piece that's made as just sort of like a hanger. Got various things here, necklaces, pocket watch chains and fobs. As you can see, a bunch of thimbles. We've got some various types of stamps, like a stamp collection. And then several pieces of kitchenware here that we're going to go over, as well as this tray here. And then some watch. One of the items I purchased today at the estate sale I was at was this jar of marbles. Now, I paid $30 for this jar. Let's pull them out here, take a look at them, and see if we can find more than $30 worth of value out of these. All right, so I want to be kind of gentle with these. Come out here. Okay, now the jar itself could be valuable. I mean, it says Queen, trademark, wide mouth. That's nice. The problem here is, though, that on this side you've got a nice crack. And so I could try to sell this by itself for a little bit of value. Might still be able to, honestly. I don't know about that Queen brand. But here we are. Now, I'm going to start off by saying I'm certainly not an expert in marbles, but I am learning more and more. The very first thing I'm going to do is take my fluorescent light and make sure that there aren't any Vaseline or uranium marbles that should fluoresce. So we're going to turn this on, and we're just going to go through here and see, do any of these things turn bright, really brightly colored? Not seeing anything yet. Nothing yet. And it's looking like none of them are. Okay, that's fine. But as I'm just sort of perusing through here, I'm noticing a few things. All right, so first off, we have some larger ones as well as smaller ones. And the larger ones are called shooters. Okay, that's what you would, when you play with marbles and you would shoot the big marble towards the other little marbles, you'd be using these bigger ones, right? And so what I'm going to first do is I'm going to collect all of these, the quote-unquote shooters. I'm going to pull those out first, and we're going to make a little spot here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this. You know what this is? It's an old Corningware tray that I found. I'm going to put those in here. So let's get all the bigger ones first out of here. The shooters, as they say. Interesting. That's a cool looking swirly number there. Here's one, bigs. I just want to sort these out first because it'll help and we can look at those separately in a few minutes. I would say that, you know, a lot of times people pay more, not necessarily pay more for shooters, but shooters, bigger marbles, you know, can bring nice values, depending. Okay, I think we got most. So I pulled this out. This doesn't even feel like glass. It's not. It's plastic. So, you know, we'll sort that puppy out in a minute. Some of these are about medium size. I'm going to leave them. That's an interesting one. Okay. And, okay, so we got these out of here. That's what we're looking at there. I'm going to let these shift, and this is what we're seeing here. So first off, this one that I pulled up a second ago is interesting because it's not made of glass. It is a ceramic marble or clay marble, and it has kind of a glaze on it, but it's very old, and you can see some little marks and stuff on it. So that's going to be separated out because it is not glass. And if I look through here a little bit, see if I see, oh, yep, here we go. This is another one that is not glass. That's ceramic, and you can see that little notch there. But this has got a nice glaze. It's very pretty color. So those are kind of separate. I'm going to put those at the top. Those are a little bit different. And then I'm noticing a couple other things. So off the bat here, of all of these, this right here catches my eye. And it's because I can tell that this is an antique marble, and it's a German marble. You can see this swirl in the middle of it, and then on both sides, both on this side here and on this other side, you can see the pontil marks where it was snapped off after it was handmade. It's also an irregular size. It's not perfectly round. And the way you can tell oftentimes if something is a pontil mark versus just a damaged place is that damage, with marbles crack against each other, it can cause fractures on the inside, but oftentimes it will break pieces, tiny pieces off. So you'll see there's damage, but there'll be an indentation. Whereas a pontil mark oftentimes, right here, is actually extra glass that's left on it. It's not always that way, but like in this case it certainly is. You can see that. And that has a different look than something that's just broken off. So this particular marble could bring anywhere from $12 to $15, maybe even as much as $20 by itself. So this marble by itself, I'm confident if I waited long enough, I probably could get $20 out of that. So we have a $30 jar. I found at least one so far, antique German marble. Let me see if my eyes can spy any others. Well, I don't see any others that look just like that. However, I am seeing some really cool older marbles. And here's one that's broke. It's kind of cracked pretty heavily. So you can see a difference here. This is one that's just been played with a lot and has been damaged. There's fractures all over it. And if I run my nail on it, there's indentations all over. So this in contrast to the German marble, one is older and handmade. The other one is most likely machine-made, but just heavily played with. Oh, man, we got some really cool-looking ones. That's a pretty one right there. It's a little bit larger. It's a swirl. Larger than some of these others. And then you've got some like this that are, you know, opaque and kind of gritty. Definitely older. Let's see if we can find a pontil mark on this one anywhere. I think that this is older, but this may be a machine-made marble. Anyways, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I can't quite tell. Here's one that's, oh, look at this. So this has degraded pretty heavily. Look at that. Whew. Somebody had a really good time with that. That might have been someone's favorite marble at one time. I don't know. So what you're probably seeing in here, now I don't know yet how to tell exactly the difference between all the different makers. It's difficult. Acro agates or vitro agates or, Peltiers or Christensen's. I mean, there's so many different types, folks, and like I said, I'm not an expert. But I know enough to be dangerous, and so I do think that I can take some of these, and I think I will be able to sell some of these individually or in small like groups. And I definitely think the $30 investment, that's a pretty one right there. is going to be worth it. The majority of these look to be, machine made. I see one down here. Where are you, rascal? You were down here. No, it's in the corner. This is a metal one. It's almost like a ball bearing metal one. All kinds of different types in here that are interesting. I love it. What do we got here? This one looks like a handmade marble, a vintage one. Look at all those lines and stuff in it. I think that this is an older one. My goodness. Very cool. If you have some advice or if you're spying something, whoops, come on now. Why am I doing this? This looks, and you can see this has been heavily played with and damaged as well. That one kind of looks like a Peltier one to me, but also, how do I know for sure? I can't know. Some really cool ones. I don't know. I find marbles fascinating, even though I don't know a ton about them. That's a beautiful one right there. Look at that swirliness. Needs to be cleaned. Anyhow, folks, I'm happy. $30. I think I can get that. Maybe double that back out of this batch. I don't know. If you know something, if you see one in here, say, wait, Rusty, don't sell them. Don't sell them just yet. Make sure you pull that one that's right there in the lower right or whatever out. Please let me know so that I can. There's some really cool looking ones. All right. Here is some of the watches I got today. This is a Lord Elgin 21 jewel. Here's a Ben Roos. It's a 21 jewel as well. I've got a Gruen here, Precision. I got a Seiko here, and then here's a fun one. I already had this box, and I just been waiting for a decent Bulova to come in, and here we are. Look at that Art Deco kind of design. Beautiful. We got I think this is a 17 jewel men's Bulova watch, but he's got this beautiful little Fifth Avenue, New York, authentic, original vintage case for it, so that'll really help it sell nicely. I bought these 5 watches for $160. $160 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, you know, not too bad there. What are we talking? 90, 120, 150. So, $30 to $35 a piece, which is pretty darn good. Some of these sell for $150 to $250 a piece. They all work, so I'm going to do pretty well on that. First off, I'm going to show you these. I got this out thinking, based on when I saw the chain and the clasp, that it was going to be basically a pocket watch chain or fob, but in reality it ended up being a little necklace here. This is an antique piece. It's not really gold filled, it's more brass. I paid $2 for that. I also paid $2 for this lovely little pocket watch chain. This is actually a chain and fob. It's a vintage piece. You can see what the chain looks like here. It's quite nice and etched. That was also $2, and then this, also a very long one, not as nice. It had gold plate on it one time. Has since kind of rubbed off or washed off. Still functional though. Would go nicely for some sort of like a silver toned pocket watch. And it has some sort of mark here. As I'm looking at it, I can see. Let's see if it'll zoom in and we can read it together. Let's see here. Can we do it? It was under here. Is that a brand or is that a place it's made? Merino? Something like that. So I'll look that up. That's nice. And this was a kind of a cool little piece here. It's like this little brass. It has this like paint on it, but the Self-Sharpening Pencil Company. It's got the patent number there, and it's got this little, you can see it's worn pretty heavily, but if I pull this end off here, if I can do it with one hand, come on, you buster. There we go. You can see it still has this like triangular, which is really interesting, triangular piece of lead there. So that's cool. Just some people still collect this kind of stuff. They collect it, or if there was enough actual lead in there that they could use, then it would be better. And that whatever uses that triangular type of lead, someone's probably out there looking for that, and that could be an interesting thing. And then over here we've got a bunch, as you can see, of these different types of thimbles. Now, I've got these spaced out to show you how I'm planning on selling them. They all came in one bag. The bag cost $10. Okay, $10 for this bag. And a lot of these are floral flowers and stuff. They have gold enamel kind of on the, or gold like leaf kind of on the outside. A lot of these are hand painted. These were all just kind of like not terribly interesting as much to sell individually. So I'm going to sell this as a lot. Some beautiful hand-painted flowers and this and that. But then I did pull this lot out, and I'm selling this as a lot in of itself. And the reason is all of these incorporate birds. Birds. There's an owl. Here's the type of bird on here. This is more of an Asian motif, but we've got some birds here. All through here. So this will be a lot of just like bird themed ones. And then over here I've got smaller lots and or individuals that I'm going to sell. These obviously I'll sell together because they are glass or etched glass. These two I'm going to sell together because they are Christmas themed and they're hand painted. They say, you know, the night before Christmas, you got a little fireplace there and the Christmas tree, and this right here, not a creature was stirring. Not even this little mouse here with a nice quilted blanket on. And then these were unique. They were the same make. One incorporates these kind of beautiful little pink flowers. It's raised out here too. It's like, you see that? And then this one right here is got, it's made to look like kind of 3-leaf clovers. And they're made in Ireland, is indicated on the inside. So somebody will like both of those. This one was interesting. This is like the Last Supper scene. So you've got the Christ figure there. And then if you spin her around, you've got all of these other people here. All the apostles, right? And so I don't know if this is pewter or what it is, but you can see on the bottom side here a person's name. It says almost as like I think it says Denver, maybe Denver, Colorado, and then it says Donahue, maybe Donahue, possibly. So I'll look that up, and then a few more individuals. This came in. It is not, I don't believe, a thimble. It would be really hard to use this as a thimble. I think this is just a little keepsake thing. It's made out of brass, made to look like a bell, and it may be like a snuffer for a candle. Like you put out the candle. This one is more interesting. It's glass as well, but it's got this gold leaf, very pretty on here. Oh, look at this, Princess Diana of Wales. And then here's her picture right here on the front. Someone who collects things from about Princess Diana might like this. It's the Royal Grafton, made in England. And then finally, this beautiful gold leaf and blue enamel painted floral scene here. And this one is a Limoges, as you can see here down in there. Limoges, and it's Castel, France. So I'll do pretty well. I mean, I'll sell this lot here. There's about, I think there's 45 of them there. I'll probably list it for maybe half to 3/4 of that on auction. Probably put this up for 20 bucks maybe, I don't know. And the rest of these I'll just put up for maybe 5 bucks on auction, and we'll see how we do. But that $10 is probably going to turn into $100 or more. This was a really cool piece that I found. Now these pipes I've had for a while and I haven't sold them. I just had it set aside, didn't know exactly how I wanted to sell them or what I wanted to do with them. And this seems like the perfect thing to throw it in on. These are old, what they would call estate pipes because they have been used. And they're not like amazing brands or anything. They are older, but the little metal piece around here is made of sterling silver. It says sterling on that one. Here's a different one. And also on the top it says sterling. So sterling silver estate pipes, they're just interesting looking. I don't know if a person would want them for... you know, they could clean them up and reuse them. But sometimes people just like this stuff to, you know, to put on a bookshelf or something. And so what you're looking at here is a vintage or like more of an antique, really, silver-plated tray, ashtray kind of pipe or tobacconana set here. So what you're looking at here is actually a lighter. It's very heavy. It's silver plated. It probably has some kind of concrete or something inside to give it the weight, but it's a Ronson brand. As you can see, you can fill it up there by unscrewing that screw, and it's beautiful. So it's just a tabletop thing. You would leave it sitting there, and you press this in, and you'll see if it'll do it here. Well, look at that. Yeah, it still has the flint is still working very nice. So if I fill this up, it's functional. That's the cool part about it. You can use it just for decor, or you can actually use it for functionality. You've got glass with these flathead screws in there, which is another indication of the age. Okay, this was done before there were Phillips screws made. So you got these glass pieces. They aren't broken. That's awesome. They set in there. They fit in here nicely the way that they are made to go. And then here's the tray itself. Definitely tarnished because it's silver plated. The only downside is that right here upon close inspection you can see a little break right there where that metal connects here. So that's a damaged piece. Whenever I list it, I'm going to have to show pictures of that and indicate that. But it's still strong enough to be held on this other side. I am not going to change anything about it. I'm not going to polish it up, though it would shine and look beautiful if you did so. But people like that patina sometimes. So I was really happy. This thing cost me, what did I pay for this? I think I paid $20 for this, which I think is pretty good. I could probably sell the lighter for more than $20. This whole set, and then you throw in the attractive look of the old pipes with silver rings. They're square, but the little fittings there around. That's a cool looking piece, antique piece. I was really happy to find that. Finishing up today, I wanted to show you some vintage Pyrex. So unfortunately, this has had this tape on here for a long time. Look at that. It's the kind that had like this thread kind of through it, and it just wouldn't come off. I'm going to have to wash this. I got to be careful because I don't want to wash this gold leaf kind of, motif that they have on here off. But I want to clean that before I try to sell it. Here we got kind of like a casserole type dish thing with a nice little pattern on it. This is the only piece that's not actually, it's actually a glass bake. But it's got this really cool, almost like Egyptian hieroglyphic type, or, not really Egyptian, I guess, more like a Greek type scene maybe. But we had several pieces here I picked up. Here's one with a little kitty cat and some other stuff. It's a white piece. Here's a really cool kind of like a mint green mixing bowl. It's clear through the middle, but it's kind of this mint green. Again, it is, I believe this says Corningware. All right, on it. So we got some Pyrex. We got some Corningware. Here's a nice one with the wheat on it, kind of. And you can see it says Pyrex. This is vintage Pyrex. And then this nice yellow mixing bowl as well. All of these pieces. So what I did was I said, hey, listen, can I have a discount if I buy multiple pieces? And she said, well, shoot, yes. And so what are we looking at here? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got 7 pieces here for right around $100. Now, I would have loved to have done better than that, and I haven't looked up each individual one yet, but it sells pretty well for us locally here. The ones with the lids, that's nice. Certain kinds with certain patterns, folks, sell for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. That's right. Vintage stuff that your grandmammy or your great-grandmammy or maybe just your mom or your dad, depending on your age, or maybe even you used to use. But it was very popular. It's still popular. It's come back. People really love this stuff. So be looking for Pyrex, Corningware, the glass bakes of some of the Anchor Hawking stuff. But this stuff is really super durable, folks. It's like you can't hardly break it or scratch it. You can pull it out of the fridge. You can throw it in the oven. It's really durable, nice stuff. People love this stuff. These are not some of the best patterns out there, but please just look up vintage Pyrex in eBay and you'll see what I'm talking about. Next time you're out at the thrift store, this is stuff that can pop up for $2, $3, $5. And you can do very, very well with it if you happen to come across the right type of pattern. So the bag of the thimbles, I bought this bag of stamps, this bag of stamps, And this stuff down here we're going to go through in a minute. And all of that, folks, cost me $25. I paid $25 for everything. 10 for the thimbles, 10 for these that I'm about to show you, and then 5 for the paper ephemera we'll go through in a minute. I've already gone through and sorted this so that it's not super boring for you. But what I've done, I'll pull this out in a minute. I'm just going to latch it there. This is a gigantic bag. What you're looking at here is a combination of American, U.S., and foreign stamps. And the thing that these have in common, most of them, is that, I say most of them, there are a lot that have not been ever used and hinged or fixed. But several of them have, and you can see they've been cut off of all the envelopes, and they've got cancellations on them. So a lot of these, I would say probably 80% of these have been used. But I wanted to point out a couple of things. First off, I may be able to sell this whole bag for $10 just by itself, just this bag. And then I got all this over here, and that's really where my money's going to come from. But do not avoid stamps. Now, you can go down a very deep, dark rabbit hole with regard to researching stamps and finding out the values and stuff. Philately, like stamp collecting, and has been a pastime of people for a very, very long time. Anymore, the stuff that's the most valuable is typically American stamps, pre-1900, as early as you can get them in as good a condition as you can get them. But there are some others that are rare. You may not know, but what I like to do with stamps is I do spend some time sorting. But I know enough to be dangerous, but I'm not going to spend a ton of time looking at stuff, because the likelihood that I have something that's terribly valuable is low, right? And also, I'm fine just listing these things out, taking pictures of them, and then putting them at auction at a low price, and just letting the market dictate the actual, like, what they're going to sell for. And so I'm pulling a few of these out. I just wanted to kind of go over and show you what I did with some of these. All right, so right here you got a little booklet. I'm not touching it at all. I'm just going to sell it as it is and take pictures. But this is stamps from Malawi. So you might say, well, where's Malawi? Well, that's a great question. It's been a while since I've been in geography class, but what's kind of cool is they got several here from one country, and so a person who might be interested in Malawi stamps, I'll slide that back in. I can just sell this as it is, so that's easy. I'm just going to run that through. Oops, dropped one. Don't want that little booger to get away. Slip her back in here. Okay. So what I've done otherwise is I've taken these, were already set up, and they said 3 cent, 5 cent, and 4 cent. And so what I did was I poured all of these out, and what I did was I took the older ones out, and I bagged those up individually in like denominations: 3 cent stamps, 2 cent, 1 cent, and so forth. And then the rest of these that are various ages, from probably the 1920s and 30s all the way up into probably the 60s or maybe even the 70s. I'm just going to lay these all out, and I'm going to do one large lot of vintage 3 cent stamps. Same thing here, 5 cent stamps, 4 cent stamps. So I got 1, 2, 3 lots to list here. Okay. 4 lots so far. 5 lots. I'll list this bag by itself. And then you can see what I've done is I've taken a similar kind. Here's some Jefferson 2 cents. Here's an interesting, what they call it's a postage due stamp. There are things called revenue, like internal revenue stamps. I've got some of those. Got some kind of unique, similar kind of Washington red stamps here, 2 cent stamps. Here we've got a bunch of 4 cent Abraham Lincoln stamps, and so on and so forth. We've got some nice purple 3 cent Washington stamps, some 1 cent Washington. Here's some 3 cent of various other presidents. Here's an interesting 2 cent internal revenue stamp that's a Washington one that has a cancellation that's actually someone's signature. They wrote something over it. Some more purple Washington stamps. This is really, for those people, a 3 cent Abe Lincoln and a 2 cent Hardin. Okay, and some of these, that's a really good condition, 1923. Really good condition, never been used. So something like that could really sell for some decent money. I'm just going to keep plowing through here. Some red 2 cents. Here's a bunch of 2 cents that are just a little bit different than the ones I showed you before. Here's an older type of a stamp. It looks like a 5 cent. Another Abe Lincoln, and so on and so forth. There are some older ones in here, some 1 cents. And I'll tell you that if you ever come across stamps that are dollar stamps, so like here we've got a $5 stamp in here, a couple of $1 stamps, a $2 stamp. They made stamps of all kinds of denominations, $10, $20, $50 stamps. They're out there, folks, and people really like those and revenue stamps a lot of times. So every one of these little baggies that you see is a small lot. I'm going to put these up. I'm going to say what they are, and I'm going to run these through on auctions. And you know what? The auctions are going to, there's 3 different colors of the same stamp, which is cool. Here's a really old one right here, a 3 cent Washington. It's got a kind of an ugly cancellation over his face, unfortunately. Here's some revenue documentary stamps. Anyhow, for $10, folks, I'm going to do very, very well because I'm going to probably list each one of these auctions at like anywhere from $1 to $5 at auction. And I believe that all of them will sell. Whichever ones don't sell at auction, I will end up selling as a buy it nows for just a little bit higher. And I'll wait it out, folks, because I'm going to get my $10 back pretty easily, I believe, and then I'm not worried about it. Now, I know some of you stamp collectors out there are probably biting your nails and like, Rusty, how dare you package them in this way? Well, folks, this is what they look like when I got them. I'm doing better so far here. People will see the pictures if they like them, if the perforations are right for what they're looking for, if the cancellation looks like what they want or not, they're going to buy it or they won't, and it's not a big deal to me. But I spend some time with these but again, I don't spend a ton of time because it's not, oftentimes it has been my experience that the time spent is not worth what I end up getting out of it. And so I did a minimal amount of work here. I've got probably 20 to 25 lots from this one $10 bag, and I think I'm going to be happy with what I get out of it. I'm going to give you another look real quick at this cool little piece. I don't know where it was made. My guess is that it was made someplace overseas as an export item for people who are traveling to an area. It's metal, and you can see it's got an old price on here, but that's not, well, maybe just a SKU code. It's not what I paid for it. I paid $5 for this, and I thought I could sell it for that and make some money. It's got a metal hanger there. It's made to hang on the wall. I don't know if I tried messing with this, if I could get it polished up and make it really nice and shiny. But it's just a cool piece because of how it's etched like that, how it's made. So I think I'll do all right. It's I'm not exactly sure how wide it is. It's about probably 8 inches wide. But now I'm going to show you this pile. And again, I paid $5 for this stuff. What do we got here? It's a souvenir from the Little White House from 1967. It's the famed home of Franklin Roosevelt. It's interesting. Here's an old children's book, Humpty Dumpty and Other Mother Goose Tales. This looks like a newer book to me. It's made to look antique and old, but I think that this is a remake copy of this old thing. So that's not really old, but it's made to look old. Verses by Cerrone Peabody Reamer. This one, someone was trying to sell it for $12, but it's someone's poetry. That's nice. Oh, it's this lady. Lovely. Look at that hat and that floral brooch there. My goodness. It was compiled in her memory by people who loved her. That's nice. Here's a little envelope. What we got here? This feels heavier than a card. A Child's Christmas in Wales by Dylan Thomas. It's going to feature woodcuts by an artist in here as well. So we've got a picture. Oh, and look at these little wood block cutout prints. Oh, that's sweet. And it's in its own little envelope too. Well, that's nice. What else do we got here? This looks older. Oh, it's coming apart. The principal cities of the U.S. can see that this is not adhered anymore. The Great Bartholdi statue. It's Liberty. Bartholdi, I guess, is the man who made the Statue of Liberty. Brooklyn Bridge. Okay, so cool. Some cool sites. Madison Street. Okay, so that's not just the U.S. This must be in other places as well. Looks like there's going to be something from St. Louis down in here. The bridge, the Lindell Hotel. That's cool. Oh, no, I guess it is just the United States. Principal cities of the U.S. Well, that's cool. That is old. Flag of the U.S. How to display it and to respect it. So this is a pamphlet on how to actually display your flag. And let's see if there's an indication. Yes. May 15th of 1924. So this is a 1920s pamphlet explaining how to display the U.S. flag. That's pretty cool. We've got some condition issues here at the bottom, but somebody might still find that interesting and want that. That's great. Moving on. What do we have here? The Ladies' Auxiliary to the Brotherhood of Railroad Trainmen. It's an official receipt. I guess they, in the Golden Star, a receipt for maybe a riding on a train. Old Maisie Malarkey. Oh, man. Maisie was on the train or something like that in 1923. That's a cool piece. Oh, look at this. Rumford High School, the basketball team from 1912 to 1913. This young lad was playing. Merle is this guy's name. Merle Richardson. Now, it was sponsored by Joseph Jacques, who was the jeweler. All right, he was sponsoring that, which is nice. And look at this. In case you feel like boogieing, we got the order of dances. Now, don't get out of order, but you're going to start off with the waltz, okay? You're gonna pop it up just a little bit on the tempo to the two-step. Then you're going to go to the Stottish. Back to the waltz again, just so we remember that. And then you're going to gallop around, grab somebody. There's several waltzes in here. I guess that's so you can get your partner involved here. And then, of course, the goodnight waltz, which everyone knows signals the end of the show. But here's a receipt from the Terrace Motel. They were AAA member, it looks like. And then look at this gentleman. Man, is he sleeping? I think he just... Also, good night. That is well above his belly button, folks. He's out in front of looks like a courthouse, and it is this lady's daddy. We don't know who she is, but it's her daddy. He's the finest man on earth. Oh, man, that's so sweet. He's the finest. In case you ever wondered, you know what? I wonder who the finest man on earth is. It's this fella right here, and he doesn't even need to be looking at you to be fine, apparently. Then there's this guy. He's probably fine too, but he's certainly not the finest. Nice little bow tie situation. Oh, look at this nice little picture. Oh, I hate that crease in the middle, but look at these young boys. Maybe a couple brothers with their little hats. One of them's got the little tricycle, learning how to ride. That is adorable. It's a photograph, an old photograph. Here's a letter. Looks like 1968. Okay, 1968 with a 6-cent stamp. And there is a letter in here of some kind. Whoa, a card. Look at this. Look at this little card. It almost looks like a watercolor. And it has an artist's signature there at the bottom. So I guess it really was a hand-painted thing. That's cool. So we got someone has wrote a letter in here. I'll look at that. I'm going to lay that to the side. I want to keep them together because I don't want them to get lost. Oh, here's a young a man here with a nice little beard and a horse and trolley. Uh-oh, so this is what you're looking at is a real, looks like is that real picture? I can't tell. It would have been it's a postcard, but it has been cut. You can see that it's cut. So unfortunately it's damaged. They cut out the backside of the horse, which, I guess I can't blame them. Going to keep plugging away here. Here is a Happy New Year card with like a stuck on a zebra, looks like, and then this Happy New Year. My guess is inside of this, there's either going to be a note or I hope there's something in it. It might be empty, but it would have had like a note or like a calling card, maybe just someone's name, or maybe like a date or something that says, there it is, something's in here. Look at this. Jacob Grabo, it looks like. Jacob with a K. Jacob Grabo, and it's hand-signed in cursive. That is cool. Well, Jacob was just sending out New Year's greetings, blessings, you know, with this little card. That's nice. What do we have here? Greetings from Bobby Burns and May Leonard. And look at this. He's just posing. Boy, they got that dog to pose perfectly. That's incredible. Nothing on the back. People just... So this is a variety of things. Different names. This is all over the place. Bureau of Plant Quarantine. They've been inspected. Here's a V sticker. Maybe a victory. Maybe to celebrate some kind of victory. V-Day. Another auxiliary of the trainman. Haley Malarkey this time. Here's a nice letter. We've got a nice old stamp. I had some of those stamps, as you saw earlier, some of those purple George Washington stamps. And this is going to Paris, France, folks. And there's a letter inside here as well. You can see it has been typed on a typewriter, so I'm going to want to read on that later. Here's a variety of some, looks like they're unused postcards. And these are just telling a nice little, looks like a Christmas story. When stockings are hanging in a row, Santa will come down the chimney. I know he will stuff your stocking full of little boats, maybe, with toys to make you dance with glee. To peck off, he will go and whisk away to fill more stockings for Christmas Day. Well, that's so sweet. These postcards, folks, have value. People buy postcards, old postcards, used and unused. This is the chat tours at some sort of terminal that this person went to. Chateaus, the terminal. So this is in another country, as you can see. Wow, that's great. Very cool. 1977 to 1978. So we're going way back in time and then jumping right back up again. Looks like probably more like 1885. You've got this red or like a carmine Washington stamp that is definitely deteriorated. It's an envelope. I think it may be empty though. I can't feel anything inside of there. I'll peek later. Also, this one, two more of these stamps, 1919. It's pretty heavy, so we're going to have a nice letter in there. Ooh, look at that. Handwritten, cursive. Folks, always look inside of these, because sometimes people will have left interesting things other than just letters. Sometimes you can find even money in them, believe it or not. District number 7, Raleigh, May 28th of 1938. And you've got a little thing, it looks like a kid made and or somebody, and they typed up this nice little story. They're jolly good member, jolly good workers. Read through that later. Another White House ticket. Pleasure boating. If you want to learn how to pleasure boat by the Anheuser-Busch company that makes alcohol, we're drinking alcohol, folks, and we're pleasure boating. Now I don't know how old this is. If this was during Prohibition era, Anheuser-Busch they were still making alcohol. They had a government contract to continue making it for medicinal purposes, but they also branched out and sold other things, and that's kind of why they were one of the only companies, one of many breweries to actually survive. But that's a cool little old pamphlet. I'm not really sure how old that is. It looks like it's probably from the 1950s, maybe. 50s or possibly the 60s. So way after Prohibition, of course. But okay, Bush's Auto Tours. Sightseeing trips. And I wonder, that's kind of cool. It's got some color. Oh, look at this. Seeing Boston, Lexington, and Concord. Bush's Autos. That's a cool little old thing. All of these things, folks, all of these old pamphlets, all of these old letters, postcards, photographs, all of these have buyers. All of these have buyers. Oh my goodness, this is what they would call a cabinet card. But what you're looking at is this display of flowers and things. This is a mourning scene, and it says, at rest. And this gentleman passed away, folks. This gentleman with the mustache, he's dead. And this is look at this. He probably was in the Navy. What do you want to guess? Because look, this flowers are made in the shape of an anchor. Wow, look at that. I don't think I've seen one like this before. That is interesting. Certainly is. Now we got a document here from March 17th, not of 1800, but of 1900. You've got a 2-cent stamp here, a documentary stamp, and this is for some sort of thing to show that they paid for something. All right. Proves that they would go in, they would pay for whatever they paid for, and they would get a receipt, and on the receipt they would put these revenue stamps to show that the payment had been made, that the taxes had also been paid. All right. All right, Mr. Broderick here in France is sending something back, and you've got another a Washington stamp there. Looks like 1919, February 19th. It's got a letter inside. Another one here, another kind of like a lighter purple, and you can see the differences here. We've got kind of a dark purple, and then you've got like this pinkish color. So the same type of stamp, but different colors. And then the Scott book for looking up values of stamps, you'll see they'll have a different number assigned to them, a Scott number. That's their sort of like their Dewey Decimal in the world of stamps. Here's another Alton Wells letter in there. There's another letter, Alton Wells. The kindness of Mrs. Broderick. I wonder if Mrs. Broderick it says though. I wonder, is there some sort of scandalous interaction between Hughes and Mrs. Broderick? I don't know. Maybe they're just friends or family members. Here's another one. You got a really cool special delivery, a 10-cent stamp, as well as a 3-cent. So this required 13 cents in 1919, going from Saratoga Springs. Another big letter. Oh, we got some flappers here, and a little band. Look at that. This is just on kind of cardboard, though. A picture that has been printed on cardboard. Here's a child in an outfit on a postcard. Another cabinet card of a woman. 1891. Here's another letter, or another a real picture, rather. The home of 5 presidents. Hail and farewell. Merry Christmas. All right, so another Christmas card that was featuring a real photograph. So this right here is an old, back before cell phones and things where you could just take photos and have them instantly. You had to take photographs on negatives in a camera, film, they called it, and you'd send it off, and then they would actually take the film, and they would turn your negatives into photographs for you. And so we have a bunch of negatives here now. And I wonder what types of, well, here's a house. Looks like a home, maybe a mobile home next to some trees. What else do we got here? Maybe they're all the same. Yep, somebody was taking pictures of this house. Maybe it was their house. Maybe they were going to sell it. Who knows what? But we got a home here. Who knows where it's at? But that's cool. That all goes together here. Let's keep these together. All right, finishing up here, another book, an old book, but this is like a Disney record book, A Gingerbread Man. Here are some old pullouts of an old book, some old colored kind of lithograph type things here. Les Follettes and the Musée des Familles. All right, and you got the the artist has maybe something, I can't tell who that is, but that's cool. And then look at this, we've got the famous American Indian Chiefs. It's a 10-cent book. You can read and then also color it if you feel like it. So if I pull this up, that's Crazy Horse. Here's a Red Cloud and someone else. I don't know who. Oh my goodness. That is wild. How long ago was this? 1951. All right. So, and it hasn't been used. It hasn't been colored. So that's nice. It's not like it's ruined. Somebody who wants this for collecting, it has not been destroyed, or, well, I say that. Some kid got after it and had a good time. Did a pretty good job. Look how colorful that is. Good job, kiddo. This is Washaki of the Shoshone tribe, apparently. Well, folks, man, $10 or $5 on this? Are you kidding me? Oh, man. I think that there's well over $100 in this lot, maybe more than that. Thank you for going through this with me. This is really fun. This is one of my favorite things. Artwork, musical instruments, jewelry, and then paper ephemera. It's just my favorite. Old letters with old stamps, books, postcards, cabinet cards, photographs, pamphlets, tickets, receipts, and vintage and antique documents, folks. All of that for $5. This happens. I find this stuff all the time, and each and every one of these things could probably be sold individually. There are buyers for all of these things. I love them because they are interesting. First of all, it's a window into the past. Second of all, they're small, so they're easy to store. You can store a lot of them. They are cheap and really easy to package and ship. Paper ephemera gets a big thumbs up from Rusty and everyone here at the Warehouse crew. Thank you so much for sticking around today, folks. Good luck treasure hunting out there. Stay safe, and we'll be back next week with a brand new video. If you haven't checked it out yet, either today or tomorrow, we got another one on the What Sold channel. My brother here at the Warehouse runs that. No fluff, just showing you what we sold and how much for. And we're not even being like, well, we think we're going to get this. No, we show you actually what sold. You'll see the price on eBay, and we'll tell you more about it. So check that out if you get a chance, and we'll be back real soon. I'm talking about a rusty how-to. Rusty